Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna go ahead and play an entire fiddle tune. Well, no repeats or any of that stuff first before I get into today's review of Real Sharp by Uday Jadugar. Anyway, I sort of found this tune in the last week. I kind of like it. It's new to me. I'm sort of learning it. It's called The Rights of Man. It's a traditional reel. Not sure of its origins, whether it's through Scotland or through Ireland. It's debatable. But anyway, it's about overcoming struggles is sort of what the origins are of this hornpipe. And I just thought it was sort of pretty, so I thought I would play the entire tune. So if you don't want to hear the tune, just go ahead and you can skip right ahead to the review. All right, thanks for being here. Alright, that's it. I know you're really here probably for the review, so we're going to do a real sharp. And it is an ITR, and if you don't know what an ITR is, I'll get into that in the review. Alright, stick around. See if this product's for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here. I'm grateful that you're here. Alright, let's not waste any time. We're going to talk about Real Sharp by Uday Jadugar this week, and this is an ITR, an invisible thread reel, hidden in plain sight in a Sharpie. This is it actually here. Now, if you don't know what an ITR is, it's an invisible thread reel. And the first time I heard about invisible thread, I thought it was a joke. I was actually at a Michael Amar lecture many years ago and bought a VCR tape. That's how old it is. And he talked about a routine he did on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and he had utilized invisible thread for that routine, and he taught that routine. And he pulled out his invisible thread, and of course I couldn't see it, and I thought he was making a joke. I, of course, had been doing magic for years at that point. I probably should have been more familiar with invisible thread, but didn't. So anyway, since then, I've loved playing around with invisible thread. Always walk out the door with usually bands on my arms so that I can use those loops. Sorry, when I say bands, I mean loops from Yigal Masika to perform with those when it seems appropriate, that type of thing. So what does this do? What's the effect? It allows you to move or levitate an object at will, essentially. So that's what it does. It has an invisible thread. I'm pulling out the invisible thread right now, and you're able to move light objects or levitate light objects with that. I'll probably put a demo up here or at the very end, so stick around for that so you can see what that looks like. So let's talk a little bit about, since that's the effect, it's up to you to figure out what you want to levitate, how you do that in a performance, and what works for you. What are you going to get? You're going to get from Murphy's Magic, their streaming platform and download platform, a tutorial that lasts for 16 minutes and 18 seconds. It's not long, it's going to be just to the point. In fact, there's no talking on it. You're simply going to get a visual of the performances along with subtitles that are done in English. The subtitles are done really well, easy to follow. They matched great with the graphics that were happening on the screen, or the performer on the screen, and so I didn't have any issue with that. But if you don't like that type of tutorial, something for you to consider. And given that it's 16 minutes long, you're not getting a master class here. You're getting just the basics. So you're going to get the streaming video. You're going to get this, which is the Gimmick, and essentially your reel lives inside of the Sharpie. It's not a working, functioning Sharpie because they've gutted it to put the reel inside of there. For that, so just know that that's what you're getting there. You're going to get 50 feet of Kevlar thread on there as well. So that's a lot and should last you a very long time. On the instructions, they're going to teach you a couple of different routines. They're going to teach you a dancing pen routine. They're going to teach you a rising card from glass routine with playing cards. They're going to teach a card balance, and then also 2 different versions of a floating bill. They're also going to teach you the mechanics of how this works. Your thread is ultimately going to break or get tangled and raveled, so they'll take it apart, show you how you fix it, and how to do that. It's also going to show you how to adjust the tension on your invisible thread, and that is important in my opinion. I found getting the tension just right was a little bit challenging, easy to do, but sort of finding the sweetness of that. And it was a little difficult to sort of fine tune and hone that, but ultimately I have it where I like it so that it's functioning and working, and you know, at the end of the day I think that's just what you need. It doesn't have any sort of locking mechanism. If that's important for you, there are other reels that are a little bit more expensive that have a locking feature on them. Okay, so those are all the sort of things it's going to teach you. The one thing it doesn't teach on there, it does not teach how to replace the spool. So when the spool in there runs out and you need to rethread it, it doesn't show you how to rethread or how to put in a new spool. Now I've taken this apart a bunch of times already, and it's all analog. There's no electronics here, so I can figure out probably how to put in a new spool when they get there. They did say that in ad copy they'll have spools or threads that they'll be selling for this device in the future or soon, but they don't seem to be out yet. So, but I do look forward to seeing that, and I would love to see a tutorial on how to replace the spool in this. All right, so that's what you're getting on the tutorial. One thing I do like about the tutorial, that it will show performance. It's in the studio, so it's not like with real people. It will then actually attach a real thread that's bright white that you can see, so you can understand the mechanics of the setup and hookup and all that sort of process of the thread. So I thought that actually was really nice on the tutorial. Let's talk about how is this gimmick. It's a good gimmick in that it will do what it is said to advertise. Now, there are more expensive ITRs out there, and they probably have a little more bells and whistles and more subtlety and a little bit better. You sort of get what you pay for. But this comes in the United States for $29.95. And I think at that price point, this is actually really, really good. I think it's not bad at all for an ITR. Let's see. It's durable. One thing, if you haven't figured it out yet, you can't hand this out. No, I don't know why you would hand it out. Simply because it's gimmicked, and there's no need to hand it out. But if you wanted to reel in a real Sharpie at some point, it does teach you how to do some ditching and sleeving of the gimmick. Now, when I say that, it's maybe about 1.5 minutes within the tutorial of that. So again, not a lot there, but that's what you're going to get in that process. I really do like the thread in this. I found the Kevlar thread to be really, really strong, and not so strong that it's like big and thick and you can't see it. Like, I have it pulled out right now. You may or may not be able to see it, I don't know. But I found it to be really durable and really strong, and I like that. I tend to use Yigo Masika's thread, and it's great. It has more elasticity to it and more give and take in it, and that's what I use most of the time. But I find myself maybe switching to this Kevlar just because I kind of like it a little bit better, because it's just stronger and doesn't break as much, and I find that you don't see it. It's just as invisible. All right, so the gimmick's good. It should last a long time, the Kevlar, and it's really great. It doesn't lock. It's very quiet. It says that you're going to get 50 feet of thread in there, and I suspect that's accurate. I didn't measure it all out, but it looks like you get about 50 feet of Kevlar thread in there, so that should last you a good long time. All right. Here's what I really ultimately think about this at the end of the day. At the end of the day, this is going to do its job. If you want a good starter ITR reel, I think this is not that bad, because it will do the job. It will allow you to see if having an invisible thread reel is right for you, and then if you ultimately want to upgrade, you could upgrade to a nicer reel at a certain point. But I think it makes for a nice affordable entry-level point for a reel. You can even go cheaper. Uday has another product out there called Covert Reel, and it's actually cheaper. I think it's almost half the price, but it's the kind that doesn't sort of like hide in plain sight as a normal object. It is one that you would put underneath your collar or just underneath your clothing type of a thing, but something to consider too. Another reel, affordable, and is a good entry point for this sort of stuff. All right, I think that's it for now. I hope that's helpful. If you do any invisible thread work, you must be patient. Your thread is going to break. You will have to get to know your thread and where its breaking point is and sort of where that's at. I would say don't give up and stick around with it so that you can really see if invisible thread work is right for you. All right, I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, and I appreciate all of you being here and watching. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.